So let me ask you this. Have you ever been praying and just felt like this thing is not working? I mean, like your prayer life is just broke. I get it, because a lot of times there's things that we can do that can actually harm our prayer life. I want to share with you, some key pitfalls to avoid in prayer so that you can free up your prayer life and it can work for you the way that God designed for it. So stay with me for the next few moments. This is Fresh Air for Life. Hey friends, this is Anthony D. Crawford and it's Fresh Air for Life. Glad that you're joining me again. Remember, as always, if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do so. Give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments, all those wonderful things. Follow me on social media. And listen, if you haven't shared one of these videos with someone, be sure to do so today. Give them a dose of fresh air. Now let's pick back up what we've been dealing with on this matter of prayer, because this is so vital. It's so essential. This is a core foundation of who we are as human beings on this earth. Listen, prayer is real simple. It's a dialogue between God and us. I like to say it this way. It's communication and connection with God where we are expressing our heart, but then we at the same time are seeking to gain His direction, His wisdom, and His strength so that we can be able to really properly deal with the issues of life. So we looked at some things about this, on last week. And then today, though, I want us to focus in on some of the pitfalls to be sure to avoid, because there's things that we can do that really, quite frankly, just messes up our prayer life. Number one is really just kind of following the wrong models of prayer. A lot of times individuals look in our New Testament in the Bible and they see what is called the Lord's Prayer. Well, quite frankly, that was really a prayer that the Lord Jesus taught the disciples, about how to pray. But even some of those elements were based off of an old covenant. So I would say this, just real simple, some of those things don't even apply to us today. So you have to be careful not to pull, some elements that are not applicable to you and I today for an effective prayer life. Then obviously there's some other things that we can look at, in our Old Testament, and these are just some models that we should not follow. There are some models that we should, but there's some that we need to stay away from. So take the time to really kind of dissect, and maybe I'll come back to that at some point about what are some good models versus what are, not good models. Now, here's another pitfall to avoid, and that's really trying to seek direction on things from other sources other than going to God first. That is a big mistake. Sometimes individuals, they're reading their zodiac sign and what it says. Isn't that interesting that this one particular thing applies for everyone that was born in this particular month? I get it, but that's all based upon astrology and the alignment of the stars and the like. Listen, I understand that, but you have to understand that you have a good Father who loves you, and his desire to make sure that you have clear wisdom and direction for your life. So He wants you and me to come to Him. So treat God as your primary source for direction in life. Here's the third pitfall I want you to give attention to. It's what I call Hail Mary praying. Back in the 1970s, and I believe it's the Dallas Cowboys with Roger Staubach and some others that are playing. I think they were playing the Minnesota Vikings. The game is pretty much over. There's like literally just a couple of seconds on the clock, and they decided just to throw the ball up as far as they could into the end zone, hoping that maybe somebody would catch it and maybe they could still win. So they just threw it up. It was kind of like a Hail Mary prayer. It was like, well, hopefully somebody will come down with it. Well, a lot of times individuals get caught in that type of way of praying, where you're just kind of throwing something up and hoping that God hears and hoping that there'll be some good results and hoping that somehow now we'll actually be able to win in life. No. Come on, be real specific. Find out what God's will is for you and then begin to pray that back to Him. That is the pathway to the most effective prayer life. So don't do Hail Mary or what we kind of call, buckshot, shooting. Be laser focused in prayer if you really want to get, great benefits. And then I'll give you one more pitfall to avoid, on today. And this one too is real significant. Don't you get caught in prayer talking so much before you've really got a firm grasp of what God's will is. A lot of times people think that, well, the more I talk, the better my prayer life is. I got news for you. What your prayer life may actually need to be successful is you talking less. Learn how to listen. Yes, there's a part that we talk, but you have to learn how to listen to really gain God's wisdom, to gain God's direction, to gain His strength. And that requires now a listening ear, because prayer is not just one way. It's not a monologue. It is a dialogue. So if you're anything like maybe how I used to be, I thought that, well, if I just spend more time just saying more and more and more and more and more and more, well, that's not going to work if you don't clearly understand what God's will is in the specific area that you're praying about. So slow down, take time to find out, what does God really have planned for me in this area for my life? And then as I get a hold of that, I can begin to talk back to Him what He's already talked to me about. And ladies and gentlemen, when you do that, we're talking about your prayer life is going up to 10. So that is the way that you want to make sure that you're going. So be sure to avoid these pitfalls in prayer. Enjoy, the time with God, and allow Him to transform you, just like I know I'm allowing Him to transform us. Right now, we're in 21 days of prayer, part of, our family and our church family and so forth. Absolutely love this time of the year. We do it twice a year because it allows us to be able to adjust and become more and more one with God. So be blessed. Have an awesome week. Remember, subscribe, like, comment, thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we'll look to see you soon. This is Fresh Air. Be blessed.